This is the 5th time that I've recorded this video. Hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. And if you're subscribed, thank you for coming back. Today's story is going to be about the time that I dated a convicted felon and about how I found out that he was a convicted felon and what he was convicted of. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is the 5th time that I have recorded this. And the reason is because this was a very emotional time for me when I dated this man. So it was hard for me to get through the video. I'm gonna do it this time. I'm not going to be painting my nails or coloring or doing anything else, and maybe I should to distract myself, but I'm really trying to push through this video because I said before, this has been really hard for me to record. So without further ado, let's get into the story. Well, I met this guy like I've met most of the guys I've dated through an app, and we checked each other out, we matched, we clicked, and we started talking. And I don't know what to say, that he wasn't the typical guy that I would go for. He came off as a little bad boy.
I'm bad boy.
Very smooth, very, he was cocky. And it didn't bother me, but I kind of like that, you know, like I'm cocky and I don't care. We talked for a little bit, of course, and then we finally met over coffee, and we really clicked and we really liked each other. Then a couple days later, we went on another date, then another date, then another date. And we saw each other about every other day. Every other day. We learned about each other. He had 2 kids. I had a kid. Just like about our lives and how we grew up, and you know, our jobs and stuff like that. I learned about each other's personalities, likes, dislikes, all that stuff that you learn about each other when you're dating. So about 3.5 to 4 weeks into our dating, we were on the phone, we were talking, and he's like, okay, we're gonna go out tonight. It's like a Saturday night. He's like, okay, so my cousin is gonna be at this bar with his band. He's gonna be playing all night. Let's go there. This is a great bar. They have great food. They have great drinks. It's really cozy. We can talk like we loved talking, and you know, make out, hold hands, just be like a couple. I was like, sure, why not? You know, it was gonna be fun because I was gonna be with him. So we went to this bar and listened to his cousin play, and they played like all night. They did like 3 or 4 sets. We were there for a really long time. We left around 2 o'clock in the morning. We jumped into his car, as previously I had driven to his house and dropped my car off there, and I rode with him to the bar. So we get in his car and we head back to his place. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they have where the lights are flashing. Came up on this intersection where you are supposed to stop and yield, make sure nobody's coming, and then turn left. Well, he didn't stop. He kind of just like paused and just went right through. Well, all of a sudden, the blue lights came on. And he's like, shit. He pulls over to the right to stop for the policeman. And he turns to me and he says, "Don't say a word. I'll do all the talking. Do you understand me?" And I'm like, I'm not a kid. The tone of how he was speaking to me was, I'm going to say, was so out of his character. I mean, I'd been with this man, dated him for 3.5, 4 weeks. And the tone of his voice changed. Like he was speaking to a child. And I never experienced that before. But I kind of thought, okay, well, maybe he's just nervous or what have you. But I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. The cop is behind us, of course. And he grabs his license and his like registration and proof of insurance, stuff like that, out of his glove compartment. So the cop comes up and he rolls his window down, and the cop says to him, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And again, I've been with this man for about 4 weeks. He had always been pleasant, always been polite, yes, cocky, but he was never rude. But he says to the cop, "No, I don't know why you stopped me. Why aren't you out doing a real job, stopping people who actually need to be stopped instead of stopping innocent people?" The cop says, "Okay, well, I stopped you because you did not stop at that red light." He goes, "There wasn't a red light. What are you even talking about?" The cop says, "Yes, there was a red light. You were supposed to stop, make sure no one is coming, and then you could turn. You just went on through. You barely even paused." So my boyfriend goes, "That's bullshit. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm just like, really, dude? You really want to cop an attitude with the cop? So then the cop looks at me and he addresses me. He says, "Hello, ma'am." He says, "How are you doing this evening?" I look at the cop and I say, "I'm doing well, sir. Thank you." So then my boyfriend turns and looks at me and looks at me like, "What the fuck did I just tell you to do?" And I told you, I mean, like, why are you even speaking to him? That's the look that he gave me. I'm like, what is this? I'm just thinking in my back, what is his problem? You know, maybe he's just nervous. Cop stops us, and I also thought maybe he had like an unpaid ticket or something. Maybe he's worried about that. I don't know. I wasn't sure why his attitude absolutely changed when this cop stopped us. And I know people act different in different situations, but whatever. So the cop asked to see his license and his information. So he says, "Here," and he sticks it in the cop's face. And the cop takes it and says, "Thank you." He says, "I'll be right back." He goes, "Yeah, I bet you will." I'm just like, dude, calm the fuck down. Like, I didn't get it. So the cop is gone for maybe about 5-10 minutes. And we don't speak to each other while the cop is gone. But you can feel the tension in the car. You could feel it. You could tell that he was antsy and nervous, and he was fidgeting. And again, I didn't understand why. But again, I had been nervous. So the cop comes back, walks up to the side of the car, and he says, "Can you step out of the car? I need to speak to you." And my boyfriend goes, Why do you want me to step out of the car? I haven't done anything." Just like really just yelling at the cop. And the cop says, "Well, I mean, I can speak in front of your girlfriend here, or we can speak outside. He goes, I really don't want to speak in front of her. And I'm like, So he goes, okay. So he tells the cop, he goes, back up so I can get out of the car. The cop is like, okay. So cop backs up, he gets out of the car, he slams the car door, and they walk towards the back of the car. And I can hear them talking. Now, I couldn't hear everything that they were saying, but I heard what I needed to hear. So the cop is telling him, now this is not verbatim, but I remember when I heard the cop say, you're a convicted felon. I could arrest you right now. And my jaw dropped. And then the cop said, you're gonna have to contact your parole officer about this because he needs to know. And I see my boyfriend flailing his arms like, I can't believe, he goes, why are you stopping me? I haven't done anything. He keeps on going and going and going. And the cop's like, just take the ticket I've written for you, get in the car and go home. I'm not going to ask you again. I have every right to write you up as being combative and take you in right now, but I don't want to do that in front of her. He goes, I'm going to be a nice cop and give you that courtesy. So take the ticket and go home. So he tears off the ticket and gives it to him, and my boyfriend jerks. He goes, I'm not going to tell you again. Fix your attitude. So my boyfriend says, okay, no problem, thank you. Walks back to the front of the car, gets in the car, puts on his seatbelt, starts the car, and we drive away. And on the way back to his place, we don't say anything. He doesn't know that I heard what was said. And he doesn't volunteer any information. But you can tell he's stewing. Again, you could feel the tension in the car between us. I could tell he was angry, he was upset. And I had never felt that from him. So we get to his place, he gets out of the car, he walks up to his front door, and he yells at me and says, get out of the car and get in here right now. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? This man has done a complete 180. And I mean, just his attitude, the way he was talking to me. So I sit there for 2 seconds. I'm just like, I didn't know what to do. Yes, some might say, okay, well, I would have gone and got in my car and been like, I'm out, deuces, I'm going home. She's not going to speak to me that way. But one, I was in shock, honestly. And two, I was like, I want to know why he was in prison. I need to know. So get out of the car. He's opening his front door and he says to me, I told you not to say anything to that cop. Why did you speak when I told you not to? I said, don't speak to me that way. And he asked me a question. I'm not going to ignore a cop when he asked me a question. He wasn't rude to me. Really, you were rude to him for no reason. He says, you don't know anything. He opens the door, he goes in. I follow him. And he takes his shoes off, takes his clothes off, and he goes into the bathroom and takes a shower. Doesn't say anything the whole time. He can undress and go into the bathroom. He gets out. And I said to him, I said, "Are you going to tell me?" He says, "Tell you what?" I said, "I heard what the cop said." He said, "You're a convicted felon. Parole." I said, "Why were you in prison?" And he looks at me. I said, "Are you gonna tell me?" And he says, "Do you really want to know?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I want to know. I want to know why you're in prison." I said, but also too, I said, "We've been dating for 4 weeks. We just made it official tonight. And you have never said anything at all about you being in prison. Ever. Never alluded to it, anything. I would think that after 4 weeks of dating, that would come up. Don't you think? That'd be something pretty important to tell somebody." And so he comes and he sits down next to me on the couch. And he puts his hands on my hand. And he says, "I'll tell you if you want to know. But if I tell you, will you still love me?" And first of all, I'm going to say red flag. I've known you for 4 weeks. I mean, I really like you. I am, or was, falling in love with you. I'm not in love with you yet, but I don't. To me, that was his profession, him professing his love for me. I don't know. I said, "Just tell me." So then he takes my other hand and he holds it. He goes, "Please just promise me that you're not going to leave me when I tell you." And I told him, I said, "I can't promise you anything right now." I said, "I need to know." He says to me, "I would do anything for somebody that I love. No matter what you ask of me, I would do. If you asked me to kill someone, I would do it like that. No questions asked." Another red flag. Because I love you that much that I would go to the ends of the earth for you. I need for you to know that. Because that's how I feel about you. And again, you might think in that moment, why did you not get up and why did you not leave? If somebody said that they would do it, they would kill for you, no questions asked, who stays with anybody who says that? But I'm going to tell you, I don't know if there's anybody out there who has felt this way. But you know, when you've been through so many relationships, and either you've never had somebody tell you that they love you, or had your back, you've never felt wanted or needed or protected in a relationship. First person who tells you that, I feel like one of two things either happens. Either you don't believe them, or you grab them so tight you don't let go. And I did the latter. I'd never had anybody say something like that to me before. Anyways, so he told me that he went to prison for attempted murder. He then began to explain to me that while he was married, that he had a neighbor who lived above them in this apartment complex, and he would constantly play his music loud. 3 o'clock in the morning, his children couldn't sleep, his then wife couldn't sleep, and it began to where he would go up and he would ask the neighbor to turn the music down, his kids are asleep. And the neighbor ended up becoming very combative. And as he said, he would torture my children. My children would be crying every night because this man would constantly turn his music up. He would scream, he would yell, he would stomp. He was doing it on purpose. And he had gone to the it's like the superintendent or whoever does like the apartment complex people. He had filed different reports with the police, and no one was doing anything. And whenever the cops would come, they would make it seem like he was the crazy one, that he wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, he said that his last straw was when his little girl came to him and said, "Daddy, why aren't you doing anything? Do you not love us? If you loved us, you would fix this problem. You would make him stop." And he said he knew that he had to get rid of the neighbor. So he said that he tried to kill him. And I won't go into the means of how he tried to murder this man. But as he said, it didn't take. To me, that's bone chilling. Thinking about it now. So he ended up being convicted of attempted murder. And he spent several years in prison. And he had actually gotten out 2 weeks prior to us dating. And when he finished his story, he says to me, "I need you to understand that I had to do that. I had no choice. I had to protect my family and what was mine, because my family belongs to me." And then he said, you belong to me too. And I would do anything for you. Anything to protect you. So I stayed. And in choosing to stay was the worst decision that I ever made in my entire life. Because that man was cruel. And he was abusive. But he always said that he loved me. So I thought, okay, I can deal with this, I can handle this. And I was with him 2.5, 3 years. You know what sucks? Thinking that you're so broken that there is no way that you could possibly be any more broken than what you are in that moment. And then somebody comes and proves you wrong. They make it worse. I just want to end this with saying, it is so important to love yourself. And it's not always easy, especially when people break you down and tear you down and tell you that you're unlovable, or they lie to you, manipulate you. It's difficult. But you need to find the inner peace. You need to find whatever it is outside of that pain that makes you happy. And not even happy, that makes you feel joy. Because you can feel happy in a moment, but to be joyful is an everlasting thing. Don't let anybody steal your joy, your happiness, who you are, tell you that you're not worth anything. But anyways, this was depressing. You know, it was not easy to tell this story because I have people who in my life who have known me during that time, didn't know this stuff was happening, didn't know what I was going through. They knew that I was different or that I had changed, as in how I acted and my personality and stuff like that, but they didn't know what was going on. Life is not always easy. I think we all know that. But anyways, I hope that you got something from this story. If you would, please Click that subscribe button, that bell notification, like, comment, share this video. And until next time, bye.